Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Traitor Bros, an independent podcast from two reality TV veterans. I am your reality TV obsessed host, Fox Van Allen, and joining me today is my fellow reality TV obsessed co host. It's Lance Cartelli. Hello, Lance.
Hey Fox,
It's
not planning
Traitors
on
time.
singing. Not planning on singing for you this time, but maybe next time.
Singing backwards. It was a very it's a very atmospheric challenge this week, at least. It's got some good atmosphere to it.
A lot of good
Um,
atmosphere, and by far of the seasons I've watched, the funniest Traitors episode I've ever seen.
I did not think it was going to go well. Just like based on how it was starting, based on how Tom was starting with his like weird singing, and then like you kind of hear row 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 your boat, and it's like, all right, I guess you can do this.
I honestly was, skipping ahead to the challenge a little bit, but I was shocked because I couldn't understand anything they were doing. The fact that they got one right, let alone four,
Yeah,
right? I was shocked because I couldn't pick up a single thing. I was probably laughing too hard to really try to, decipher what it was. But props to them for getting 100% on that.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Not too much exciting goes on during that challenge, but there is a little bit of excitement in the episode. It opens up with our two remaining traitors, Carolyn and Danielle, murdering face to face with the dramatic church reveal. We're hoping to see Alan standing there, but if you see the traitors, you're through. And it turns out that we thought it was going to be Tom. Last week we were talking about how.
Right. We mentioned Tom. I did mention Crishell, though. I threw it
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, and that is exactly who it is that gets targeted here and murdered by the traitors face to face. Kind of pretty heartbreaking for her.
I wanted to see a little clapback from her. She took it too, she was too sad about it. Like
Yeah, she was
maybe,
just really sad.
which, I'm kind of glad she's gone. She didn't really add much other than just kind of hating Tom and
Yeah,
just being like a poor faithful, like too good of a faithful, but also bad at deciphering who is a traitor and everything. So I'm of the choices. This is actually great entertainment wise. Although
yeah.
I did feel, I don't know about you, I felt this episode had a Boston Rob sized hole in it. Like there was entertainment, but it felt like the calm after the storm.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I think you're exactly right. You get, and I think everybody kind of feels it. Like even the contestants feel it because like you just got like a huge win. Like you found a traitor, like someone who's been invading you for a while, and it's like, what next? It seems like there are a few different directions that it goes. Actually, very surprised and impressed by Tom in circling back to that Carolyn and Danielle moment where Carolyn called her out at the round table. Love that he was able to resurface that. A few fingers pointing at Britney, but it looks like Ciera is our biggest target here because of this so-called coffin theory that Sam is really hyped about.
Yeah, I mean, I understand them going back and just closing the door on the coffin and everything, which makes sense. But cast Tom in every single season. Like he, doesn't have the best reads, but man, that guy is pure entertainment and just an inspired selection for this cast. And I'm glad him and Sam, who put a nickel in Sam.
Yeah,
He really started talking, and for the breakfast thing, for him to figure out like that they had to like who saw what Alan was wearing was just really just a brilliant move, like
brilliant,
unbelievable,
brilliant. I
and
absolutely love that.
and killed by Tom, which made it even funnier. But just it was honestly like Sam didn't do anything, and he even explained why, like he's a listener and everything. And then this was his real coming out party as a faithful and everything. So good to see you for him.
Yeah, yeah. He has his highs and lows here.
Yes,
Like you
absolutely.
said, I that was actually pretty intense. The whole Carolyn Inquisition there at the table. It's hard to tell
I
how much of that was editing, and what was how it sequenced out in real life. But boy, was that felt tense. That felt real
Yeah,
tense.
and she, you're right with the editing and everything. She was stumbling over her words and stuff, but that's also just her, general disposition and everything, which I think helped her. But I really wish we could have seen more if Tom didn't interrupt, which is still hilarious that he did that. And I was surprised that no one really doubled back on it. Maybe they did and they kind of edited it out and stuff, but like I don't think she really passed the test, even though some people said she barely did. I would have liked to see them double down on that a little more and really intensify the questioning of Carolyn.
Yeah, it's like one of the very few rare pieces of evidence that you kind of have out there. Like it's hard to catch traitors and things until like you have these like flashes of brilliance, we'll call it,
Yeah,
from Sam. You
and if
gotta,
you're production, like you got to have Alan see them because that is such a huge hole in everything too.
yeah,
So from a very well produced thing, I was just kind of shocked by that.
yeah. I've gotta admit that when Carolyn was sitting there and like the question was asked to her, what was Alan wearing? And I started to like think like, okay, what was he wearing? Like I just saw him in like
Well,
seven
had we seen it?
consecutive shots, and I didn't even like remember exactly
No.
what he was wearing. So like, I mean, that's stressful enough as it is. Like, because I get where Carolyn's coming from. Like, I think she said it was just like something black, maybe a
Which
hat.
I mean, great
Yeah,
guess and everything too,
that
because
was
that's what
right.
it was. But
Yeah, it
like,
was
if
black
it
and a
was
hat.
me and I didn't remember, I would have said he wore something, crazy and like flowery or like crazy shoes and stuff. And he was just, it was one of his more like relatively normal outfits and stuff. Like definitely like I couldn't pull any of that stuff off, but like it was just like black with the hat and everything, which is subdued for him.
Hmm. Well, it was going to be the scene of a murder, and so you want to,
Sure. Yeah.
you choose your outfits accordingly,
Yeah.
right?
So black is a good guess for
Yeah.
sure.
By the way, I absolutely love that they nailed Crishell in a coffin.
I know. I love that too. I was trying to think. That was
Unnecessary,
like
but I loved it.
stock footage, but yeah, her just doing it and then agreeing to it and everything is pretty funny.
Yeah, Ciara would never agree to that though. She makes that
I don't
very
blame
clear.
her.
No, she
I don't
makes
blame her.
that very.
She would have cussed everybody out that wanted to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess there are a few theories that are going around here. Now that Boston Rob is caught, right? Now that Bob the drag queen is caught, a lot of people are just like right now looking for a woman traitor, basically, right? Because like there's got to be at least one, maybe there are two, but we know there's at least one because we haven't caught one yet. So that's it looks like starting to really shape the game based on like what people are thinking at the round table, but also maybe now what they're thinking in the turrets, like after the round table, when it comes to who to murder or who to recruit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, this decision is really gonna obviously we got 3 episodes left. This is such a pivotal decision that this is a make or break decision for the traders. So I'm really interested to see what they do. What do you think they should do? Or, yeah,
Oh
and then what do you
boy.
think they will do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. First of all, love that there is already a disagreement about
Of course.
how it should be played. And
We saw this coming in our previous episode. We mentioned how they would try to take their number ones as that if they did recruit.
yeah, no, right down to the letter. That is exactly what's going on. Danielle wants to bring in Brittany, and like Gabby is on the
Yeah,
other end with Carolyn. So I I oh, that's really tough, right? Um, I would lean. I don't know. I think I might lean towards not bringing in another traitor.
I agree.
If they can't really agree on someone, and I don't know that they're going to be able to, like, just kill, because there's no way they're going to be able to hide it, right? Like that's like everybody or enough people anyway know that Ciera had the shield, so that if somebody doesn't go home, It wasn't
They
the
know there's
Shield
a
that did it.
they know there's a
that,
recruitment then,
right.
or seduction as they called it.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, last week I called like Danielle's game, you know, disastrous and bad and all that, but like she's in an improving position right now. It seems like Carolyn is super under the radar still. I don't know that there's a reason to necessarily stir the pot. Like everything's going great. Why throw a wrench in that? You know?
Yeah, I think they should murder someone, but I also like kind of galaxy brain it a little bit where they did mention recruiting somebody to kind of like bring them out to slaughter and stuff, kind of just like sacrifice them. And my galaxy brain, like the obvious move is either take out Sam or Dylan, especially Dylan after that awkward interaction between him and Danielle and Carolyn. So that feels like a very obvious one. And it would, but that also doubles down on them, the faithful realizing that it's probably a woman and everything. So so my galaxy brain take is Carolyn should have Britney get seduced, and then she can now either take out Danielle or Britney and everything. And it kind of, and like obviously there's a huge risk that they could now team up and take out Carolyn. But to me, there's already a target on Britney and Danielle. So if you do seduce somebody, give Danielle what she wants, but then you take out Danielle or you take out a Britney and everything. So that is like a high risk, high reward maneuver. But right now, Carolyn doesn't have a lot of blowback on her, and Danielle and Britney seem to be the next kind of targets and everything. So that is my more, like I mentioned, galaxy brain way to handle it. Although I think they'd probably take the safe route and just take out Dylan.
Yeah. Is Britney too likely of a choice for this? Like, is it like, because like I think like she's probably like my go-to in my head if like who I'm gonna pick. You know, independent of the whole Danielle dynamic, which you know,
I think you want that though. Like if you're Carolyn, you know, there are like people are going to think there's going to be 2 or 3 traitors if there's no murder and everything. But I just think it's too risky of a move for Danielle or Britney and everything. So I think, you know, I think that's like a move that like if Carolyn pulls it off and she's able to do that, I think she wins the game. And right now, I think if they murdered Dylan or Sam, I think it's now up like a 50-50 shot of Carolyn winning. I definitely think Danielle is probably not going to win because of just there's too much against her right now. So to me, I think, yeah, like I mentioned, it's Carolyn's in a good spot almost no matter what, but she's in a better spot if you can somehow put that target now on it, Britney and Danielle, and they find that person out.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about. Have you been watching the basically the Traitors after show? Not necessarily after show, but what they show of you know
the little 10-minute videos of like the banished and murdered person.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. I did a binge watch of them this week. And one thing I took away, I think it's very interesting, is that everyone is very surprised, you know, lower key surprised that Danielle is a traitor. And so many people feel like hurt by that. Like, just like really like it doesn't feel good learning that she's a traitor as compared to like Carolyn, which is just like, whoa, that's such a good idea. Like, how didn't I see that? You know?
Yeah, that's what I find. I was going to say that I find funny is like people are betrayed by Danielle, but then they're like, I hope that Carolyn should win the game. She's doing such a good job and stuff. So, but it's so funny because the narrative is that Danielle is like the worst traitor ever. And yet so many people are surprised by it. But I do think the shaking is really going to like be her downfall. Like her even shaking after Dylan was there and stuff is just like such an obvious thing. It's such a weird like tick and everything that like I don't know how people don't pick up on it. But I do think obviously we know who these traitors are. So I think, you know, since we already have this information, we're like Danielle's doing this terrible job, but like you got to trust the people that are in the game and being eliminated and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like easy to see, like, I guess on our end, based on like what we get shown, that Danielle tends to, you know, very dramatically overreact to things, with tears or shaking or whatever. But to the people in the game, like very few people are picking up on that as like disingenuous. Like a few people have said something. Ciera did. R.I.P. Ciera. But prior to leaving, she mentioned that. And also good on her, by the way, on her way out the door, by pointing out about Danielle's name being on Jeremy's lips shortly before Jeremy was nailed into a coffin.
Yeah, I thought she did a good job at the round table of just defending herself. I was not familiar with her game before this, but she was just entertaining. I like somebody who cusses a lot. She looked good, so good job by her and everything. It just, she was doomed once she was in the coffin and everything, and it's a bummer, but I understand why they did it. And after the Crishell murder, in getting rid of Boston Rob, it was this weird transitionary period. So you might as well just go back to, like Sam mentioned, go back and close the door on this theory and everything.
Yeah, and like you said, we were also closing a door on the Boston Rob era and Ciera's banishment here the other night. That was Boston Rob's doing. That was Boston Rob was the one who argued that we don't put any traitors in the coffins because they're going to think we're going to put a traitor in the coffin. And then we get one murder tonight and we get 2 freebies down the road. And they got their 2 freebies down the road.
It was a double-edged thing for Ciera because she also voted with Boston Rob, which you would think a traitor would do. Yeah. So she just got it from a bunch of different ends. And, that's inescapable at this time, especially when there is no strong other leads.
Yeah, it was a really, really good chess play by Rob. Unfortunately, Ciera got the short end of it. But
which is a bummer because they got along so well before and everything. And then I thought Danielle did a pretty strong job of defending herself when her name did get brought up at the round table.
Yeah,
she had a couple red flags in there, but she obviously was prepared for somebody calling her out, and I thought her arguments were sound.
Yeah, she basically brought up all the bad decisions that she made, or decisions that she allowed Boston Rob to make, and just
it was a little too rehearsed, but in the end, I mean, solid job by her, and she really, it was a pretty much unanimous vote, so she did good enough.
Yeah, she's there's no jury at the end of the Traitors, so you don't have to make them feel good. You just have to go undetected until the end.
Yeah, but I think next week is a reckoning. I think we lose Danielle, if I had to guess. But I think we're going to get even from the you don't want to look too much into the previews for the next episode, but they had the 2 faces of the Traitors almost facing head to head. So it feels like we could get another head to head between Danielle and Carolyn, which honestly could torpedo Carolyn in the future, but right now she's in a real good spot. It's another reason I wouldn't seduce anybody either, because you bring someone in and you're 3 weeks left, you're making the end game a little dicier.
Yeah, you're almost there, and you just run that risk of just being the odd person out of the Traitors. The other 2 teaming up against you, and you don't want that.
That or
so close
say you bring in a Dylan, say you bring in a guy because everyone thinks it's a woman. They obviously you're going to think someone got recruited and it probably is a guy, but you're just making that with such few opportunities to get rid of people left, you're making it that much harder for you to win.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know that I would go with a woman pick here. If you're going to choose, because it just makes it easier to hide as a woman.
Yeah, the funniest would be Ivar.
The numbers go. he is still there. It is true.
He is. Yeah.
He's
the furniture.
Maybe we first thought Sam was furniture, and now he's upgrading himself. So maybe Lord Ivar will have some kind of 1,000 IQ play coming up.
Yeah, we'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps us up for the Traitors this week here.
Do you want to give your prediction on who goes? Who goes home?
Let's do that. So I think they I think they are going to recruit. I just get a feeling that
Okay.
they're going to recruit. And I think Carolyn is not going to allow it to be Britney. I think Danielle might give in and let it be Gabby.
Let it be Gabby. That'd be interesting.
I don't know that they're gonna go with like one of the guys because I think that makes it harder for them. Like it's got to be like someone that they're close to. I think someone that they can both somewhat trust. And I just think Britney isn't that person, and Britney's probably not long for the game. I don't see Britney making it to the end. I think there's enough questions about her.
Yeah, and if she does, and Danielle's there, she's cutting her and everything too. But yeah, I'm gonna go chalk and say Dylan gets killed.
Oh, okay.
And then Danielle gets banished.
Okay. Yeah. I think my pick for banishment. I'm gonna say Britney. Britney is my pick for banishment.
Yeah, could definitely see that.
I think she's kind of next on the list there. I don't know that. I don't know how much Carolyn's Danielle theory will pick up speed.
I definitely think it's one of those two gets banished.
Yeah. And if not now, we're just pushing that decision like one more episode down the road, right? Because like both of these storylines have to be resolved by the end of the game, I think.
Yeah, and if I know I mentioned Hatgate in our previous episode, Hatgate, coming to fruition, we are seeing the crazy Danielle hat, which is the last thing we've seen in previews. So this really could be the end of Danielle.
That's good. Now we're uncharted territory.
Yes,
uncharted territory.
Hatted territory.
Yeah. First her hat, then the host. We have to remember what kind of hat Alan's wearing. Like it's a lot of hat content in this show.
You're the hat guy here, so. But I'm on Hatgate, so we're teaming up. Reality show, Traitor Bros.
Yep. Let me know if you find any more hat related news, Lance.
I will. I'm on it.
Thank you. All right. So that wraps up Traitors here. We came here to do what we had to do, and now it is done. So talk to you next week, Lance.
All right. Until next time.
Until next time, we discuss Love is Blind.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Is it blind? Bye-bye.